Hi class. This time we are going to be talking about scatter plots and actually how we can use Python code in order to develop scatter plots. So for this tutorial, we are going to be relying on Iris dataset, which is a pretty well-known dataset in the community. So you would see that there are different tutorials already available online, but I'm creating this one to walk you through all the different plots that we created using this Iris dataset. So we are going to start by creating a simple scatter plot. Then we are going to be creating a more fancier version where we have the histogram of data on the top and right side of the scatter plot. Then we are going to be talking about creating a scatter plot where we are fitting a line that can explain the relationship between petal length and petal width. This is a regression line, a linear regression line, and we are going to be later on discuss in detail how we can create such a line more. But again, I just want to give you a heads up and show you that this is very easy to use Python in order to create or fit a linear regression line to your data as well. Then we are separating the different species of the iris that are available in this data set. And we are also talking about a scatter plots where we have more than two variables. So again, you can find everything online. If you go to the same module, to the same HTML file, the descriptive statistic plots and the stats, you can see that all these plots are already available. One thing that I want you to notice is that there is no iris data file available here. And that's again because the iris is such a famous data set that it is stored in one of the libraries that we are using here. So for soft drink, we were importing data from our computer, but here, because the data set is already within the library, we are just going to be loading that library. Here, in addition to matplot library, we are going to be using Seaborn. We are going to import. And again, if you haven't installed it, please go ahead and install it first. We are going to import it as CNC. We are going to be loading the data set from the CNC library, and we are going to store it in our df variable. We are going to be also using the scatter plot function from CNS library in order to develop this scatter plot where we are calling our the data from the df variable where we stored everything, and we are saying that our x-axis is going to be the petal length and y-axis is going to be petal width. We are going to be adding some labels to our x and y labels. And then after adding the labels, we can just go ahead and show the plot that we developed. And you can see that it's a simple scatter plot. It's showing us the petal width against petal length. And again, we can see that somehow a linear relationship is happening, or a positive linear relationship as whereas we increase the petal length, we are seeing an increase in petal width as well. Now, in the next one, this time we are calling the join plot function from CNS library. And as you can see, we are calling the same data file that we loaded from the library. We are saying that we are interested still to plot petal width against petal length. We are putting the same labels, but because we are calling this joint plot function, in addition to the scatter plot, it is showing us the histogram of petal length on the top and the histogram of petal width on the right side. And again, if you remember, we are seeing it somehow weird behavior on our histogram side. And as we discussed, it's because we are combining multiple different species of iris together. Next, we are continuing with the same function, join plot function from SNS. The only thing is that this time we are asking to fit a regression line to our plot, and that's by adding the argument kind being equal to regression REG, which stands for regression. And again, you can see that we still have the same. We have the scatter plot, the histograms, and this time we have the fitted regression line as well. Finally, one other thing that we can do is that because we know this data set is combining different species of iris flower, we can be using the hue argument, and we are going to be setting it to a species so that it can separate the data based on each species of the data set that we have. So the blue is giving us the Setosa species of iris. The orange one is giving us the versicolor species, and the green one is giving us the virginica species. And as you can see now, because we are recognizing that these are different species, different data sets, now instead of trying to give us a histogram, it is realizing that these are different data sets, and as a result, it is trying to fit a different distribution to each of these data sets. Again, we are going to be talking about distributions, continuous distributions, discrete distribution, joint distributions in detail in the following lectures. Again, this is just a heads up to see how these things can play. The other thing is that if I print the dataset that I loaded into my computer from the library, you can see that it's not limited only to petal length and width. It is also have information about the sepal length and width. So now instead of two variables that we can use the scatter plot to visualize, we can see that we have four different variables. Now the question is how we can visualize the data when we have more than two variables, and that's where the pair plot come in. So pair plot has this matrix format that is gonna plot each attribute, each feature against all the remaining attribute. So here we have the sepal length versus the sepal width, the petal length, and then the petal width. So you can see behavior between all these different features at one place. And then the diagonal, you can see that it's just the distribution of the different species that we have. This is it for this tutorial. Again, remember to use the discussion board, post any questions that you have, and you can also reach out to me. Thank you.